Welcome back, wonderful humans. I'm Danielle, and I currently live alone and I'm trying to shift towards healthier meals whilst remaining on a budget. I went into a variety of places this week and got more than just food, but I wanted to share it with you anyway. I haven't actually shared with you all the Christmas bits and bobs I have started to get. I seen this bauble in the garden centre, and I told myself I was done with getting Christmas decorations apart from a tree topper, but yeah, one seemed to fall into the basket. Got myself a dot to dot book. It has so many dots per sort of image. And you know what? I love something that's super simple like that. Underneath that is also something that I got as part of a Christmas present for somebody. So obviously I'm keeping that hidden. I got that book as well. Then got some amaretto butter and I just figured I'd give it a go. They had some brandy butter, but I love amaretto, so I figured that might be a nice thing to get. Then I got some of this basically fancy Nutella, just hazelnut and cacao, but it was down to £2, so I figured I'd give it a go. And then this Yorkshire Preserve mulled apple cider jelly was also on sale. I figured that might be nice, especially where it's getting into the colder months, if I am having sort of some pork or something like that and mixing it in there when it's a B&M, and I just got one food item in there. I got some Henderson's relish, think kind of Worcester sauce, but slightly different and a lot more local. And then I got some fluffy socks with my initial on. So you can see here, there's definitely a theme of it's about to be winter. My flat gets very, very cold in winter, and I don't want to have a incredibly high electric bill like I did last year. So I got myself a hot water bottle, made sure to get myself a 15 tog duvet. I got some photo frames that I will be using as part of something for Christmas. And then I got myself this fleeced cotton duvet set where it has little bits of gingerbread patterns on there and on the other side candy canes. And I live by myself. The only person that really comes over to visit is my mum. So do you know what? I might use it for more than just Christmas and nobody can stop me. Nobody will see it. Only you and anybody that does visit will know. Then of course I went into Lidl and I think I ended up with 4 items that actually had VAT attached to them, so I think I did pretty well. But I do plan to do some burgers at some point during the week. Thinking about making my own. I have some beef mince in the freezer, but I decided to get some cheddar slices just to save me from cutting them up. But I made sure to get some with some cracked black pepper in, just to keep it a bit more lively. And I got some green beans as well. Thinking about sauteing some of these at some point. I do just like doing them in a frying pan, sort of fresh with a little bit of butter. So I'll probably do that, like I said, at some point during the week. And then I was made sure I picked up some salt cubes. I meant to pick some up last week and I forgot. And I have completely run out now. So I made sure to get some vegetable and some chicken ones. These will obviously last me a long, long time. I don't use stock cubes a huge amount, but I'll find that when I do, I normally am making things in bulk and need two of them at a time. So when I do, they sort of disappear quite quickly. And then from the freezer section, I decided to get some chicken quarter pounders. I figured that I might want to have a chicken burger. I don't know. I'm just in a bit of a burger mood. And obviously, I know that I won't necessarily want to have beef ones on repeat. So decided to get those for the freezer, see how I go. And I got some chorizo from the fridge section as well. I like to put this into different things, into some sort of spicy rice dishes, that sort of thing. But I also still have some frozen seafood, so I might end up doing something sort of like a paella. It won't be a paella. I don't have the right rice for it. Might end up being more of a seafood and chorizo risotto. And then I got some pastry. Yes, I can make my own pastry. I know how to. I'm pretty good at making it. But I'm working and I don't always have the time to make it. So I decided I was just going to buy some. I got some more margarine. I was running incredibly low, especially after doing some baking earlier in the week. So I picked up another one, especially as I plan to possibly do some more baking as well later this week. And then I grabbed some potato gnocchi. I decided that the price just means it's a lot easier to have this in the cupboard whenever I want it than to get one of the fresh ones and feel a need to desperately use it. And I got a courgette. I'm sure I'll figure out what to do with this courgette. I just I don't know. Maybe I'm just the only one, but sometimes I look at the vegetable section and I think this would be a great idea. And like I said, I will find a way to use it. I might end up doing it into some courgette ribbons somewhere along the lines. And obviously, with all that talk of burgers, I did go and get some of the large seeded burger buns as well. And when I was doing my baking earlier on in the week, I finished off the rest of my self-raising flour. So I wanted to get some more, like I say, in case I do go to do any more baking. I only have plain flour left. I do tend to use plain flour a lot more. But knowing my luck, I would need self-raising flour, get halfway through a recipe and realise I'd run out. So I grabbed some more before that happens. I got some more squash as well and just a little loaf of bread. I'm not planning to have a lot of bread, a lot of toast, but if I do, then that's still more than enough for myself for the week anyway. And I'll sometimes just pop some of the rest of it into the freezer to make sure it doesn't go bad. And I got some little gem lettuces just to be able to put into those burgers or mix through with something as part of a lunch. Just chop some of it up. I do still have some other bits of salad hanging around as well and some dressings. So I might end up doing that at some point. And then, as you can see here, I got a few more bits. I've taken the approach that given I'm just putting the things into the trolley and it is normally just one or two of a particular item, to not bother putting it into a bag. So I just walked around the supermarket with two potatoes just rolling around in my trolley in the same way as with these carrots as well. Just grabbed some of those to top up on the fact that I'd used them all up during the week when I was making one of my soups. And I got some celery. This celery is particularly wonky, but I figured it'd make for a nice, good, sort of crunchy snack during some of my work days or a game to mix into a salad or something for lunch. And I got some more cheese. I'm running low on my normal block of cheese and wanted to make sure that I had some more, thinking I might do a cheesy pasta dish at some point. So obviously when I do that, I tend to go through quite a lot of cheese. And then I got a bunch of 7 fun-sized bananas. Again, I went for some super green ones so that by the time I actually eat them, they're still fresh, and then I might end up having a couple to do something with in terms of baking as well. And I got some fun-size easy peelers. You can see, yeah, I'm trying to gravitate more towards perhaps healthier snacks. Obviously, they are quite high in sugar, but sometimes natural sugar is obviously better than just some other random snack. And I got some salad tomatoes. Again, I have some normal tomatoes left, but figured they'd be good to be sliced up into some sort of burger. If I am doing salads, then I might didn't want to run low. And then, of course, dental hygiene is incredibly important. So I got some dental floss. I and ahed between the waxed ones and the not waxed ones, but I did decide to get the one without in the end. And then I got some mouthwash as well. Again, hygiene is important. So I figured I'd give Lidl's own brand one a go. And I got some washing up liquid. I was starting to run low, and obviously I want to make sure that I don't run out or something like that. I have to get the eucalyptus one. Amusingly, I find that I break out in a rash these days if I use fairy washing up liquid. So the cheap one is obviously better for the wallet and also a lot saving me from turning out into rashes. And then I got myself some watercolor pencils as well. They're 3.99 and they just caught my attention because I love arts and crafts. Not that I have any time for it. But as always, thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing. And I'll see you again soon.